Welcome to Forensic Friday, where I tell you one true crime case that was solved using forensic science, all while doing, that's right, my makeup. Today's video will be featuring the Lunar New Year palette from BH Cosmetics. Such a stunner. All the other products I'm using in this video will be linked in the description below. Please read the disclaimer. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional makeup artist, beauty guru, MUA. I'm not even a forensic pathologist. I know, who would have thought? I am just the average girl at home like you, planning makeup and talking about true crime. So if you love true crime and makeup, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I know some of you have been here before and just have not hit that subscribe button for whatever reason. Hit it so you don't miss out on any of my future episodes. And let's get into today's case. So this story takes place in Ventura, California, which is pretty close to me, on May 6, 1996. 30-year-old Sherri Dally dropped her two children off at school on what seemed to be like a normal day. And then she went to the grocery store. She headed there right before she was supposed to go to work. She was expected to be back home around noon, like 12 o'clock, but she never returned home. So her husband contacted the police. Now the police found Sherri's van in the parking lot of the grocery store. The door to the van was unlocked. Her purse was inside. Even the groceries she had just purchased was inside the car, but Sherri was not. Investigators asked the store employees if they had seen anything suspicious that day. It just so happened that the head of security was Sherri's friend, and he had actually seen her earlier that morning. He said that she stopped by to have a quick chat, and then she finished grocery shopping and headed out the door towards her van. Now the security surveillance cameras do show Sherri purchasing her groceries and heading out of the store towards her van. But it doesn't show exactly what happened to Sherri after that. So at this point, police are thinking, like, where did she go? They started to theorize that maybe she went with a relative or a friend or something like that. They weren't sure what the hell happened to her. The security surveillance camera showed that Sherri left the store around 9:22 a.m. Some family members passed out flyers throughout the neighborhood searching for Sherri. They even reached out to the public. Television stations and radio stations were asking people to come forward if they had any information that would lead to the discovery of Sherri. Sorry, I got that in my hair. A lot of people in that area knew Sherri Dally and her husband Michael from growing up together. According to them, Michael was Sherri's first real boyfriend that she ever had, that she was just so completely in love with him. They said that she adored him so much that she refused to see anything else. Like when he was around, she could see nothing else, just Michael. Girl, I feel you. I know we've all been there. Let's not judge now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys, you people, because I don't know, I'm never ever correct with these things. Let's not judge now, okay? We've all been there. I am guilty of being there myself. So I definitely will not judge Sherri for that. You know. So Sherri and Mike had been married for 12 years and they had two small children together. Mike worked as a manager at a local grocery store. I don't believe it was the one that Sherri was shopping at, but it was a grocery store. And a background check revealed that Mike and Sherri had marital problems. I mean, who don't, honestly? But Sherri was so in love with him that she did not see it. She wanted to be with him, and that was gonna be it. She was trying to make it work, as we all do. And, hi guys. Sexy, 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 sexy. So police found out that Mike had been telling Sherri that he wanted to dissolve the marriage, that he pretty much wanted out. And yeah, he wanted to get a divorce, but his actions did not show that because he kept coming back to the house. Like, I know some of those too. Trust me, I do. So police were a little bit confused. It wasn't clear how serious he was about that. I'm pretty sure Sherri was confused as well because, you know, his actions wasn't matching what he was telling her. I mean, if you don't want to be with someone, leave and don't come back. But not him. He kept coming back. I don't know. I need to be careful when I say stuff in these videos because sometimes, you guys, I say things that I think are funny and it's just to be a joke, but I say it in such a way that it comes off kind of nasty and just really not tasteful. And I'm sorry. I mean, you know, you always risk that whenever you're doing any type of comedy, especially when you're mixing comedy with something so serious. I'm not gonna make excuses. I don't know. It is a joke, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, friends say that Michael had a lover, one that he used to work with, and she was a former model, and her name was Diana Han. I mean, you can't just dissolve a fucking marriage, dude. You gotta think about that shit. It'll bite you in the ass later. Michael did not keep his relationship with Diana a secret. He was just not keeping it a secret. Friends knew about it, family members knew about it, and eventually Sherri learned about it as well. So, I mean, he was being honest. The day after, it was the day of or after, I don't remember. Either the day of or the day after, police decided to go and question Diana Han. And when they showed up to her door, she was wearing like this skimpy little sexy outfit. And I mean, the police, I'm pretty sure it was like, girl. But they're trying to act like, oh, she was wearing this skimpy outfit. What a terrible woman. I mean, come on, guys. You were loving her skimpy little outfit, and now you want to act like it's a terrible thing. It's not. It was clear that Diana had been in bed when she got up and answered the door. Yeah, we gotta hide this mustache today. I'm not even playing because I don't remember when the last time I waxed. You know, when you are in quarantine, girl. But y'all, get this. Behind her was Michael Dally in the bed, in her bed. I mean, I guess it's not that big of a surprise because we knew that he was, you know, her. So, but I mean, wow. I would have just not opened the door, honestly, because to me, that's just a bit much. I mean, if I saw the police, I'd be like, okay, look, you need to hide or something. I don't know. That was a bold move there. So yeah, Michael was at Diana's house and he was in her bed, in his boxers, behind her as the police were talking to her. She kind of blew the police off and told them, hey, like, it's not a good time to talk right now. I have some things going on, so, you know, I can talk with you guys later, but now it's not a good time. And so the police obviously thought that this was very, very suspicious and at the least distasteful because his wife just died and he's at his girlfriend's house. But on the opposite end of that, if I had a girlfriend or, you know, another girlfriend that everybody knew about and my marriage was already over and I was already seeing this other woman, well, obviously the marriage wasn't open because he didn't get a divorce and he kept coming back home. But I'm just saying, on the opposite end of things, if I had a girlfriend and it was known that I had a girlfriend and my wife just died, I would probably go to my girlfriend's house to get comfort. I know it sounds bad and maybe, like I said, really distasteful, but it's a possibility. Maybe he was grieving and he needed, well, you know, at this point, he doesn't know that Sherri's dead. He just knows that she's missing. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to make any excuses for him by any means. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. Obviously, police found this very, very suspicious. Why would you be at your girlfriend's house while your wife is gone and she's disappeared and, you know, you have 2 young children and instead of looking for your wife or whatever you're doing, you're with your girlfriend? Yeah, police did not like that. Shortly after that, a witness came forward and said that they had actually seen Sherri Dally in the parking lot at the grocery store and she appeared to be in some kind of distress. According to this eyewitness, it appeared as though Sherri was being arrested. She said that she saw Sherri walk over to her van and there was someone else standing at her van door, and Sherri opened the van and a woman appeared behind Sherri. Sherri turned around, they spoke briefly, and then the woman appeared to start putting handcuffs on Sherri. Like, she told her, put your hands behind your back. I mean, they couldn't hear, the witness couldn't hear what they were saying, but they spoke. She could see that the two spoke briefly, and then she could see that the other woman was telling Sherri to put her hands behind her back and was handcuffing her. Now, this person walked Sherri over to a car and put her in the back seat of a car just like a police officer would, and they were described as a female wearing glasses, like sunglasses, and a suit outfit. They had blonde hair. The police was trying to figure out who the heck was she, because this description did not resemble Diana Han. Diana Han did not have blonde hair. She had like dark colored hair. In addition to that, Diana Han did not own a car like the getaway vehicle that the witness had described. According to her, the getaway vehicle was a teal car. Investigators felt that the teal colored car was not a common color at that time, so they started to theorize it had to be a rental. Now it's time to go into the palette. But anyway, back to the story. Investigators checked all of the local car rental companies in the area. At one of the car rental places, investigators asked the lady at the front desk if they had rented out any cars to a man named Michael Dally. So, you know, the lady went on her computer and she started, oh no, we actually don't have a Michael Dally for rentals here. And she told them that she didn't have a customer by the name of Michael Dally, and so, or Dolly, I don't know if I said that right, Dally or Dolly, it's one or the other. So investigators asked her to check the computer again and see if they had any renters under the name of Diana Han. And sure enough, Diana Han had rented a car on May the 5th. Now, we know that May 5th was the day before Sherri disappeared. Police was looking at each other like, we got something here. We call her ass. Ooh, we call her. But get this, Diana Han denied renting the car, saying that the signature on the rental agreement was not hers. So if it wasn't Diana Han's, then whose was it? Well, that's what I want to know. In addition to that, no one at the car rental place could positively identify Diana as a customer who had rented a car that day. Police found that the rental car had just been returned, and they said that when they looked inside of the window that you could see the carpeting on the floor had some brownish red staining in it in the back seat. So forensic scientists performed tests on those brownish stains that were in the backseat of the car. A phenolphthalein test was positive. It's a chemical that turns red when it comes in contact with the hemoglobin content of blood. Forensic pathologists were able to tell that this was from a pool or a puddle of blood. They theorized that the person sitting in the back passenger seat of the vehicle was probably bent over and bleeding. Investigators then used luminol to look for blood that may have been cleaned from the car and the trunk. According to investigators, forensic scientists told them that the car lit up like a candle when they sprayed the luminol. They said it was blood everywhere, on the door handles, up on the ceiling panels, or roof, I would say ceiling, but roof panels everywhere. After investigators received blood samples from Sherri's parents, they were able to confirm that the blood inside of the car was that, in fact, Sherri Dally. I keep saying Dolly, and I'm sorry, it's Dally. According to her mother, she would never ever have left her children on her own free will, so she immediately knew that something had happened to Sherri. And forensic scientists found something else. They found 3 long strands of hair in the backseat of the car that appeared to be human hair. But the forensic pathologist, when she put it under a microscope, found that they weren't even hairs at all. They had unusually arrow-shaped heads on the shafts. An infrared spectrometer identified the molecular structure of the strands, not as a hair, but as a fiber, the types that are used to make wigs. Was it possible that the person that abducted Sherri wasn't even a woman at all? 25 days after Sherri Dally's disappearance from the grocery store car parking lot, research volunteers found some bones off of a remote road. The location where they found the bones was just 3 miles away from where Sherri was abducted. Investigators contacted the family to let them know that, they had found remains and it was a female, and that Kristen, Sherri's friend, had identified the clothing on the remains as Sherri's. Dental identification records were already on hand for investigators. Without even having to do an x-ray on the body, just with the dental records alone, forensic pathologists were able to confirm that the body was in fact Sherri Dally. And forensics experts were also able to identify the cause of death. Sherri suffered a gruesome attack. She had multiple stab wounds in her shirt, even stab wounds that not just penetrated her skin and her muscles, but went all the way through to the bone. In fact, they found one piece of metal in Sherri's left jawbone. It was embedded in the jawbone. Forensic scientists analyzed the piece of metal using an electron microscope. This microscope produced a 3-dimensional image and a picture that he could identify. So after doing their studies, they found that the piece of metal was actually a tip of a knife blade. It was one of the teeth of the serrations. So Sherri's husband, Michael, was one of the 2 suspects in the case, but he said that he was at work at the time of her murder. At this point, everything was pointing towards Diana because Michael had his alibi from work. So police assumed, okay, he was not the hatchet man here, and Michael's mistress, Diana Han, was the other suspect. So the car used in Sherri Dally's abduction was rented by someone who signed Diana Han's name. But Diana Han denied that it was her signature and said that someone else had forged her name. So police brought in a forensic document examiner to analyze the handwriting. The capital letters on the rental agreement was very different than Diana's known signature. The handwriting also had a different slant, but basically the forensic handwriting expert decided to compare the signature on the rental car agreement with signatures from Diane that was from like 10 years ago. And when they did this, they had a shocking surprise. They found that Diane Han's signature from 10 years ago was strikingly similar to the signature on the rental car agreement. Diane. It was so strikingly similar that the forensic handwriting expert concluded that Diana had in fact signed that rental car agreement and initialed it. Police theorized that Diana believed she was creating a forgery when in fact she was using her handwriting style from 10 years ago. Busted. Investigators found more forensic evidence. A lady that worked at a wig store in Oxnard said that she remembered seeing Diane come in and she had in fact purchased a wig from her. The wig was blonde and she purchased it just before Sherri Dally's abduction. They discovered that Sherri had paid by check for her wig, and with further investigation, they found that she had paid for a few other items by check as well, right before Sherri's disappearance. Now, the check from the wig shop showed that Diana had signed the check with a green ink pen. Now, this is very significant to the investigators because it was very rare for someone to carry around a green ink pen. You know, most people have black or blue, but it's very rare to, have a green ink pen and to carry that around. Well, when investigators had brought Diana in for questioning, she signed some documents, and she signed them with a green ink pen. Investigators sent the documents and the ink pens to a forensic document examiner, and this document examiner actually specialized in ink. That's so crazy, like, that there's examiners that specializes in ink that's separate from an examiner that specializes in handwriting. I would think that the examiner that specialized in handwriting also would have specialized in ink, but no, there's two completely different examiners. That's just wild that you could have a whole career that is based on ink. So all the tests that this forensic examiner ran was to examine the ink formulation, not so much the ink pen or handwriting itself, but the actual formulation of ink. So the most common way to compare ink is to use a video spectral comparator. What this instrument does is evaluate inks in the ultraviolet, invisible, and infrared portion of the spectrum. The theory is if it's the same ink, it should react the same under all conditions examined. Infrared lighting can identify if two inks are the same or different. The test showed that the ink found on the check matched the ink. In searching her home, investigators found that Diana Han was a master of disguises. They found tons of different photographs of her in different wigs, different makeup, different clothing, like looking like completely new people. So police asked Diana Han's mother if she could pick out her daughter in any of the photos that they had, and she started shaking her head like no, that she said none of the photos were of her daughter. That means not even her own mother could recognize her from the types of disguises this woman was putting on. The telephone calls from Diana to Michael before and after the murder was evidence enough of Michael's complicity, so police arrested him as well. The night police arrested Michael, they found that upstairs in his bedroom, him and his wife's bedroom, he had in his bedroom, on him and his wife's bed, a pillow with a photograph of Diana Han on the pillow, on he and his now dead wife's bed, shortly after her murder. The audacity. The audacity. I don't know what people are thinking. Why? Why? He has 2 young children that live in that house with him. And shortly after their mother was murdered, he has a pillow of his girlfriend on the bed that he and his wife once shared. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot. I don't know what kind of punishment he deserves, but there should definitely be some punishment, 100%. Actually, according to police, that pillow was there while Sherri was still alive. I don't know. There's no way in hell I would have allowed that. No. Thanks to forensic science and some good police work, both Diana Han and Michael Dally were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. What do you guys think about this case and my makeup look? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you like videos like these, check out my last episode. I will leave it linked on the screen right here. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Friday with another Forensic Friday episode. Bye!